Foodservice Power Plant Network. What is up, friends? Welcome to Wednesday night, 6 p.m. We are so glad you're here. Tonight is going to be radical. Kathy Langlois is going to join us, and I'm going to let her talk about her career. But I mean, if ever there was a time to talk about culture and employee engagement and recognizing employees and taking care of the whole employee, now is the time, because we're in a different world. And she's got a fun perspective being with the Zoomba Group and all the things that they do and the ways they contribute to our industry, which, by the way, are way more than you recognize. And so we are going to bring her on in 1 second. Just know that we're glad to have you. Remember, you can throw questions in the group for Kathy, and we will do our best to answer them. I can't always see who's posting them, so I'm going to be looking on my phone occasionally, and we're going to see if that works. But we want you to participate, ask questions, have fun. This is going to be awesome. Let's see if this works. No whammies, no whammies. Yes! Hi, Kathy!
Hey, Jason! Hey, happy birthday!
Well, thanks. It was a great day. It was a really fun day. I loved it.
I'm so honored that I get to be the guest on your birthday. That's just like super cool.
Well, I'm glad that you're here with me. I can't wait. Your background is fascinating to me, and what you love, and like what your interest. And so I can't wait to hear about the whys and the hows. And just first, thank you to your family for giving us an hour of your time tonight. And thanks for taking the time to be with the whole community.
Yeah. So happy to be here.
You got it. Okay, so I'm just I'm not ignoring you or texting like my friends when I look at my phone. Just so you know,
send in help.
No, that's okay. Let's see if I can
messaging your wingman.
I know. Hey, I am flailing over here. John is on. John, what is up? Thanks for joining us. We've got some people on. I can't see everybody, but we're glad you're here. Kathy. Okay, first, let's start with this. In this world, the most appropriate question might simply be, how the heck are you right now?
You know, that is the question. It's the question of the year, right? Are you okay? How are you?
Yeah.
I'm doing great because look, Bolton's there. Love her.
Bolt, yes!
I love her.
I know.
I'm doing great because I am joining you. I can't take credit for this amazing artwork behind me because I'm in a rental house in Florida. So I live just outside of Chicago. And when everything went back on lockdown in our school district and all the sports and activities, nothing's happening, we said, why don't we hunker down near the beach? So yeah, I've had a lot of vitamin D from the sun and salt spray and the sound of the ocean for the last 10 days. So right now I'm doing the best I've been all year, I have to say.
Oh, that is so great. Do you guys get to be down there for a while?
We leave tomorrow.
Okay.
Leave tomorrow, but we're really thankful for the time that we've had.
Heck yeah, you took advantage of it. That's smart, smart thinking. Okay, Jen is on, Shannon's on, Jose is on. John wants to know what part of Florida. I don't know if John's from Florida, but...
Gosh, right off of 30A. So people who are familiar in the panhandle of Florida is just a little slice of heaven. And it used to be more of a secret about 10 years ago when we started coming down here, but everyone caught on. It's pretty special, but we're a little secluded. So have a great house and ordering in and watching movies and doing all the things that we do at home. But I start my day with a big, long walk on the beach. So.
Oh my gosh. Talk about giving you a little beautiful perspective for the day when you start it that way, huh?
For sure.
Okay, Kathy. So you started your career as a young buck, as most of us do in food service in some capacity.
Yeah,
many of us cut our teeth, right? And then just tell us about your career. And now you're back in food service, and you were in some other places along the way. Can you just fill us in so people get a sense of your career and your path?
Sure. Like you said, like many of us who learned the value of work early on. This is where I started my career in food service. at 13 years old in 8th grade, I started scooping ice cream at a little ice cream kind of C-store combination. So I learned how to disassemble and clean a Taylor soft serve machine and all of the all of that great stuff. Worked my way through college. I took a year off and worked on an adventure cruise line where I got fine dining and work in a galley. So that's where I learned what a sous chef is, and steam tables and tilt skillets and all of that good stuff. Through some of those galley rotations, flipped burgers, tended bar, did all of that. So by the time I graduated from college, I had almost 10 years of experience working.
Wow.
And I think there's something about this tribe of people who have served others in hospitality that if you can wait tables and if you can tend bar, you will never go hungry. You will always have a skill, and you always will know how to take care of people. And I think it's a really important lesson to learn early on. So that's how I put myself through school. And then my career started in publishing. So magazine publishing was my first kind of big girl job. Okay. And did that for a few years. Certainly not in the food service industry, but I know a little bit about insurance and art galleries and those types of things. And then I did some pivots. I worked for a while for a really large corporation, Robert Half International, and started a division of that company in St. Louis and got some business building and sales experience. Did a little work in nonprofit for the American Hospital Association for a bit. That's when I first moved to Chicago. And then it was funny. I had everyone should have the benefit of a really bad job earlier in their careers. Like, everyone should know what it feels like to wake up on a Sunday morning and already start getting depressed because you have to go to work. Because if you have that experience early enough in your career, you will understand the value of great culture and a great team. Wow. And so that was my turning point in my career. I lucked my way into, I was interviewing for a culture after a really bad job experience. And I found it. I said I had a pretty broad set of skills that could be applied to many different things. But at that point, and I was still pretty young in my career, I realized that I was interviewing for what team I wanted to work for and what leaders I wanted to work for. And that started me on my path of being involved in culture and recognition and creating experiences for people in the workplace. Yeah. And and then I found my way back to publishing, and publishing that follows the food service early roots of my career, and here I am.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. I love that. First, you are getting, Chris Rolling is on. He says, Panhandle in the house.
It's the best.
Preach. I love it. Who just that? John just moved from Sarasota into New Orleans. Way to go. Sandy is on. You're getting a lot of preaching comments. Amen. Good. From Bolt. Yeah. Sandy saying truth. I have a feeling that's about learning how to take care of people and learning work ethic and focus, all those things that we do in restaurants in that world. And you're right. You'll be fed for life if you can learn how to take care of people and all those things.
That's right.
I think I love that you are interviewing for culture and what team, not necessarily that there was this passion of an industry you needed to be a part of as much as you were choosing to surround yourselves with a certain set of people. And what was it? Was it that you enjoy teamwork? Was it that you figure like you just learn from the best and so surround yourself with the best people? Do you know why it was that you found yourself doing that?
It's because I realized that life is too short to work with a bunch of asshats. Excuse my French.
Yeah, sure.
Life's too short, and I realized that um, I wanted to work for people who believed in doing good work, wanting to make a difference, and didn't make themselves miserable in the process. And it's hard because especially early in your career, you just want any experience. You're trying to build. You want to make as much money as you can, as quickly as you can. And sometimes it's a race to nowhere. And I'm really thankful for that experience. Like I said, I had a job that I did love until I didn't. And when I fell out of love for that job early in my career, it was traumatic. It was the first time, like I said, I had been working since I was 13. By that time, I was in my late 20s, and I had never not worked, but I actually quit that job without having another one to go to.
Yeah.
Again, because I could tend bar and wait tables in the meantime for 6 months while I figured it all out. But I realized that race was killing me, and it was stealing my joy. And you don't know if you have tomorrow. Whether it's a scare that you have or an experience that you have, there are these pivot points in people's lives that you realize that, it's not all about the race. It's the journey along the way. It's how you feel about yourself. Do I like myself enough that other people will like me too? And I just didn't like what I was becoming. And again, I'm thankful that I had that experience in my 20s because it changed the direction of my career.
I love it that you find a way to be grateful for a really tough experience. And it's so true for all of us. Many of us look back on crappy things in our lives, or, a lot of people, 2020 and all this stuff. But if you think through it and you're intentional about finding ways to grow, you can find ways to be thankful. Okay, now, first of all, I think I just have a feeling t-shirts, we're going to make a t-shirt at some point with ass hats on it. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think it's coming. And then who is this? This is Sandy. I agree. You learn more about who you don't want to be by having that initial bad experience. Heck yeah. And it takes a level of honesty to recognize what's going on, and some level of introspection to know if you're feeling more alive or if a job's taking life from you. And so way to go. Okay. So you wanted to be around a team, you wanted culture, you wanted people that made you feel better about yourself and like you, and you ended up at the Zoomba Group. So tell us about your team now and why. I assume that you still look for the same things, and that in choosing to go there, you were looking for the same things.
Yeah, well, actually, the crap job was way, way earlier in my career. So I spent almost 16 wonderful, wonderful years working for good companies and doing really good things. So the Zoomba Group, when I came to Zoomba Group, not quite a year ago. So gosh, talk about a tough time to make a career, not only a job transition, but a complete career transition. I started at Zoomba Group mid-February. So I had about 3 weeks before the floor just fell out beneath us in Foodservice. So I am really fortunate enough that my first week on the job, I was at the NAFM annual meeting down in Miami and met some really great people. So if I look through your roster, I met really gracious, lovely people like Rob Connolly and Jim Cantardi and Allison Cody, all these people that I so appreciated meeting, and I've been enjoying seeing on your show, on your what is this, a show, a pod? What is it? I enjoy seeing them with you.
Show works. It's great. I know they're all just the best of the best. I mean, all just power plants, right? Just incredible people.
For sure. So my coming to Zoomba Group was, I had you come to points in your career where you have these pivot points, or these little transitions. And while I loved the work that I was doing, I loved the people that I worked with where I came from right previously, which was OC Tanner. I've had this friendship with Maureen Slocum, the publisher of FENS Magazine and Restaurant Development and Design, and the CEO of Zoomba Group. I've known Maureen actually since she was featured on the cover of FENS as DSR of the Year. So it goes way, way back. She was selling to the University of Missouri, and I was working in campus dining services, and we struck up a friendship and have known each other ever since. Mm-hmm. And I had just thrown it out there that I was thinking of making a change, and it was another one of those places in my career where I was doing work that I loved. I liked the people that I worked with very, very much, but I was burned out, and I didn't know that I was burned out until I wasn't burned out anymore. And that's kind of a dangerous place to be. So I took some time, some self-reflection. I went to a seminar called Life Forward in Santa Barbara that's put on by the Hudson Institute. They do professional certification for coaching. Yep. And I came out of this experience, and I was just having a conversation with my friend Maureen, saying I had this really great experience, and I think it's time for me to move. And then of course the hardcore press came on from Maureen. She made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I'm so thankful. Even in this crazy year, to land here is pretty amazing.
Oh, I love it. What is your emphasis? What you were doing at OC Tanner was around. It was around. Correct me if I'm wrong. Culture, employee engagement, etc. Can you fill us in on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, so I was there for 11 years, so I had the opportunity to hone many skills, but it was consulting for helping organizations become better at being intentional with their recognition and their practices of gratitude with their employees, and from a business investment. And ultimately, I was a salesperson, enterprise software sales for the technology that enables recognition to occur consistently in very large organizations. So typically, companies that have 10, 15, 50, 100,000 employees. So wow. a bit of a shift.
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, Kevin, our buddy Kevin, Slocums are great people. Oh,
indeed they are. Indeed.
We like great people. Sounds like this is John. John, who just moved to New Orleans. Okay, maybe there's an opportunity. Who knows? I don't know.
All right, John, you just show up as Facebook user. So you PM me and I'll respond back to you.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, Kathy. So employee recognition. When we talked the other day, you talked about how employees bring their whole self to work, right? They're a person. They're not just a cog. What do the best companies do, in your experience, that you saw and engaged with, to intentionally, just a couple of things that they do to make their employees feel supported as that whole person?
Yeah, it's become a bit of an industry. And so when you start saying words like industry and corporate, it kind of starts stealing some of the authenticity out of what some people are trying to create. So some companies will say, yeah, we did a survey, our engagement scores are low, we need a recognition, let me buy a product, let me buy software. And to be perfectly candid, I was a commissionable salesperson. So if you wanted to buy something, I would sell it to you. But those companies who did it really, really well, again, there was an authenticity to it. So it was organizations who understand that if you take care of your people will take care of your customers, and making that part of your ultimate strategy of a company. That, you're looking at your P&L, you're looking at all your innovation, all of these things, but your people strategy has to be at the top of the tier. So the companies that are doing it really well are doing it with the right intentionality, that they really do care about the people. And there are so many factors that go into creating a high performing culture of great work but two of the biggest ones, in my opinion, is trust. That people have trust in their leadership, that they have their backs, but then leadership having trust in their people, and just an abundance of communication, effective communication. So whether it doesn't always have to be good news either. I find that especially in this crazy year, there's just so much bad news. There's a lot of gloom, and you can't ignore that. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. You can't tell people it's not there, but you have to be really honest. And I've seen so many amazing stories that we've covered in our publications, or just anecdotally, things that are happening in food service. People who are overwrought with having to let go of some of their employees at this time, or just really make difficult decisions, but caring about the people so intensely that they know that when things turn around, they have a place. It's communicating even when the message is not necessarily a positive one, but being truthful and respecting people and not talking at them. I think, so back to your original question, what are the companies that do this type of work really, really well? It's just authenticity, trust, and communication. Personally, in my opinion, those are the top ones.
Well, they all, authenticity, communication, trust, it all adds to that trust factor, and making people feel, even in bad news. I mean, there are very few companies in our world right now that aren't giving some level of bad news or haven't in 2020. Yeah. And communicating that with heart and a level of empathy and understanding. It's possible. Not everyone knows how to do that well, because it can be uncomfortable, or they don't, maybe they just don't have that empathetic gene in them. But I would agree with you. It's a good lesson for so many leaders out there and so many companies on continuing to get through this time. And then when we start getting back out there, keeping that communication. Hopefully there's more good news, but not stopping the communication when things are good, and continuing to support that person. Do you see companies, particularly because of this, because I'm in my home office, and I would have been if we did this at 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. and at any point the dog could run in and go nuts, or the kids could run in and someone could be vomiting, and I have no idea, it's life. Do you, and particularly with things hard, do you see companies finding ways to support the mental health in different ways of their employees?
For sure. Well, again, I can only speak in the past year in the capacity of my time at Zoomba Group, but we had a very flexible working arrangement, but not a big practice of working together remotely. So it was really interesting. It's a super tight crew to start with when everyone was together, and people worked remotely. But when you worked remotely, you usually worked autonomously, and then you came back. And the days you were in the office, there was, this raucous camaraderie. And it was really hard to, at first, recreate that, because people weren't used to, in our company, working that way virtually. And so we had to be intentional of connecting in different ways. gosh, I regret that this is the year that I started, because there are these, like epic stories of, nights after the Dealer of the Year awards gala that we do, of, epic stories of drinking together late into the night, and being with the community and in the industry. And we, what I saw in my one experience of being able to go to a show for the food service industry is, it's fun. It's way more fun than technology sales. It's way more fun than talking to a bunch of HR people, I got to tell you. And I think so many people are looking to replace that. But your point about, again, the authenticity of, oh yeah, you do have a family. Oh yeah, you have kids that are sucking up your Wi-Fi and your broadband while you're trying to have a work meeting, and the dog's barking. And I think that's probably one of the silver linings of this year, is that everyone was forced to function in this capacity at the same time.
Yeah.
And it normalized being normal,
Totally agree. Yeah, you're right. The fact that we all did it together, no one felt particularly uncomfortable that everybody else was in this perfect setting and I'm the one that the dog's going to go nuts. Everyone has the dog that might be going nuts, or the kids they're trying to teach and do work and all this kind of stuff. That's a great point. Okay, Jason is on. Rob Connolly is on. Hi, friends. It is great to see you. Sandy says radical candor goes a long way in a company.
Amen.
Yeah, I think we're finding that. Larry Wange is on. Yo, Pop. Okay, Kathy, for you.
Yeah.
What are some things you do to stay positive, to keep the momentum of your energy going, to not let a really challenging, at times dark year just kind of pull you down? I'm sure there's walking on the beach this week is probably a great tool there.
It's been amazing. Yeah, you know what? I think, I'm a work in progress for sure. I am someone that hard work is ingrained in me. So I keep pushing. But a reset every now and then is critical. And, I learned this lesson only recently, that, especially when you feel like you're in this fixing mode. I need to fix this situation. We need to think creatively, and we need to find our way out of it. You push, but there comes a point, gosh, there was a great analogy, a great leader I had once shares that every once in a while you have to stop and sharpen the blade. Because if you're trying to chop down a tree and you don't stop to sharpen the blade, it's ultimately going to take a lot longer.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of have to sharpen the blade every now and then. So this trip was the first change of scenery that we've had this year, so we haven't vacationed in a couple years because of the timing, how everything hit. And, that's not a woe is me story, saying, oh, I didn't have a vacation, but it's just the reset. It's the problem, there have been lots of benefits of the silver linings of this experience, but working from home, not going out to eat out, trying to avoid being in crowds, it's been really easy to fall into the pattern of kind of lather, rinse, repeat, and all the days start to blend into one another. Yeah. Just getting out of the house, going for a walk, exploring a new park in your neighborhood that you never even knew was there. Taking those moments to kind of center and find gratitude, listen to something that you wouldn't normally listen to, have a conversation, write a letter, express yourself in ways. And so that's what's gotten me through this year, is finding those little points of connection that my normal busy life wouldn't have allowed me.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I love it. It did open a space that, at least in my world, didn't exist before. I just,
Yeah.
whether it's emotionally, spirit, mentally, I was going so hard. I could not find it or discipline myself enough to find it. And this was that forced moment where, I could either, I guess, spend a lot of time watching Netflix every night because I'm not, out traveling and everything, or reflect and ask, what are those things that keep me going? I love the things that you went to. They all sound like beautiful ways to keep yourself moving forward and keep yourself engaged in the community that sort of got cut off in ways. And intentional seems to be the word.
Mm. Yeah.
Bolt is saying, and it was the whole world, not just the USA. I think that's about, in terms of us all trying to figure out how to work and parent and play and all this kind of stuff all at the same time, that chaos. Bolt, you're so right. There's something about when it happens together. I think I've never been unemployed before this. There hasn't been a moment in my story. And then I found myself 10 weeks without a job. And normally I would have been just whether it's woe is me, maybe a little bit, or just feeling some level of shame, or, all my peers and everybody's working and I'm unemployed. It was so weird to be unemployed and be like, well, I guess that's kind of just par for the course right now. Like, I don't know. We're just going to, not carrying that shame with me and knowing that it was happening around me. There was nothing I did to do that. It really created a sense of freedom and looking for opportunity and finding ways to re-energize that I probably wouldn't have had if that had happened in a normal world. So
Isn't it amazing, though, how much of our self-worth we find from our work?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so even more important that the work you do should spark joy, or be able to kind of bloom where you're planted and find joy where you are, because it's such a big part of your identity. And when that's stripped away, like, okay, well, who am I? I'm a hardworking, I'm an achiever, I'm all of these things. And when that's paused, not by choice, I can imagine it. It's very challenging to say, okay, now what? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a significant part of my story and self-worth, certainly. And I'm lucky to be able to find it in other ways too, but certainly work is where I spend most of my time. And it was a choice to not focus on what I wasn't in the moment and what I didn't have, but to find the other areas and choose to reinvest there to help pick that up and remember who I am and the other pillars of my life that are there and certainly matter. Our buddy Rob Connolly. Rob, thanks for the birthday wishes. You are the best. Hi, Kathy. Enjoying conversation, Rob. We love that you're here, brother. Okay. Let's see. Define. Was there someone in your story? I wouldn't have enjoyed my experience in food service and had some of the success and the people without people above me that poured into me, that said, you know what, Jay, you got this. You got what it takes. Keep going, keep learning. Someone in your story that was your encourager, your fan to push you along?
Yeah, there are a few of them. Honestly, Maureen is one of those, because I've known her for so long. I think the question makes me, I don't know if this is super profound, but it feeds into the things that are important to me. And we as people don't know what our talents are always, unless we get reinforcement that someone says, hey, you're good at that. Or we take for granted the things that we think, this is just how people are, but other people see it as a gift in us. And so there have been key people along my journey that have helped me identify my own strengths. And imagine a world where there's so many people who have all of these strengths, but no one ever tells them. So, then that kind of like self-doubt creeps in. I remember, I went, I'm a product of parochial Catholic school as a child, grade school, high school, and there were a lot of mean nuns in that journey. But there was a really great priest in our parish who, I was the kid who would always read in church and, be up on the altar at Mass. And he pulled my parents aside one Sunday after church, and he said, she needs to study communication. You have a gift for expressing yourself and for public speaking. Mm-hmm. And what was so funny is that I can remember sitting, like before the Mass would begin, and my whole body would be shaking every single time. I mean, I did this every week because, Sister Elizabeth or Sister Bridget Ann would assign you your readings for that week. But standing in front of, this big church and talking to people, it never got easy. I was always nervous before that. And for someone to say, but you're good at this. It's that it was the encouragement I needed as a young child to say, you have to push through the discomfort sometime, and don't let discomfort stand in the way of progress. Because I would have given up and I wouldn't have identified that as a skill. So I don't know, that's a long story, but there were key moments in my life where the feedback of someone else identified in me something that I didn't realize about myself. And so I've made a conscious effort that, if someone does well, tell them. If someone looks pretty, tell them. If someone made you feel good that day, tell them. One of my favorite quotes from O.C. Tanner that we talked about a lot was, there's nothing louder than the silence where a sincere thank you should be. Oh, so wow. You should, if you have something positive to say, don't suppress it, because no harm ever comes with spreading positivity in the world.
Oh, there's got to be some more preaches here coming. You are... raise the roof. I mean, Kathy, there's just so much there. You are right. It is so often, it's easy to be like, there's nothing special here. There's nothing special about me. And you don't recognize a talent or a gift oftentimes unless someone says, hey, by the way, that's unique. Right. This isn't something that's just universally shared. And so press in and push a little bit. And that's a great point. I also love what you said about pushing through the discomfort, because there is this, I'm all about strengths, and I certainly believe we all have certain strengths, et cetera, and we want to foster and grow. But so often people look at things that maybe make them uncomfortable, or they don't see as a strength today, or they think it feels hard. So they're like, no, that must not be for me. But I mean, to really develop, there are so many things that we don't know how to do today that it takes some level of self-efficacy to push through and say, I can figure that out. There's something here, and I'm going to grow at that, and I'm going to learn at that. And to not get stopped at that level of discomfort or uncomfortability. So I love that that was a part of your journey.
Yeah, for sure. Gosh. Someone's asking me a question here. I don't know who these, there's no names associated.
Okay, here. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. By the way, Ari says happy birthday. Ari, thanks, brother. Deirdre's on. Hi, Deirdre.
Hey, Deirdre.
Okay, so it's Ari again saying, Kathy, what is your favorite positive food equipment story from 2020? Ari, great question.
That is a great question. You're putting me on the spot. You know what? There are so many stories. Gosh, our editors, Joe Carbonara, Rebecca Kilbreath, Renee Paz, the journalistic integrity and their team of contributing writers, they've told a lot of really good stories. But one of my favorite stories is one that wasn't covered in our magazine. It's a personal story of someone that I worked with in my adventure cruise line days that has a restaurant group in St. Louis. So Paul and Wendy Hamilton, two really inspiring business owners in St. Louis, and they have a restaurant group that they oh gosh, what's the term? It's coming. They gave the company basically to their employees. There's
ESOP.
an ESOP. Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
So they put their entire company into an ESOP so their employees own their company. It was pretty amazing. So that happened before the pandemic, and I think what a positive story of this husband and wife team that when they initially had to shut down, they were so worried about their employees that they, instead of cooking for customers, they just started making meals. And they made meals for every single one of their employees every single day that they, the business is shut down. We can't pay you, but we can feed you. And it's just that kind of, when it's good, we share in the good, but when it's bad, we have your backs. And gosh, if you're ever in St. Louis and you're able to go to a Hamilton Partners restaurant, there's some really great ones. Check them out.
Awesome. Oh, beautiful. Those are the moments. What did you say to me when we talked the other day? Hold on. I'm looking at my notes. You said how you treat people in the worst times really says and opens the light on who you really are.
For sure. It's easy. It's easy to be upbeat and supportive when everything's going your way. Yeah. But who you are when the chips are down and when business is tough, you start learning, what are platitudes and what are just way of being. And I was so nervous at the beginning of this pandemic because, gosh, I had left a really successful career and, I was successful and it was fulfilling and I just needed a change. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the new kid. Am I the first one to be cut? And, I remember early on, Maureen and the other owners at Zoomba Group sat everybody down and they said, first things first, your job is okay. And things are going to be tough. This industry that we serve is suffering, but you are okay. So the people who are commission sales rep, they're like, we've got you. We've got you. You're okay. And everyone else, that are counting on this company for, insurance to support their families, for their paychecks. They said, we will cut where we need to cut if we need to cut something, but you're safe. And it spoke volumes of the quality of the leadership, but it spoke volumes of, it wasn't just, we're in it together, or, treat this business like it's your own company. It wasn't just the talking points. It was what they felt in their hearts. And I think the hardship of this year has revealed the true character, both positive and negative. There are some people that maybe you had written off of not having a sincere heart, but really had the opportunity to showcase the goodness in all of this.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. You can feel it. I don't know how to say it other than that when someone is genuine and they're sincere about wanting to be a part of support, take care of their people, words are like I don't know. In my world, the words I hear are like 25% of the battle. It's what I feel that seems to mean the most,
Mhm.
engaging with people or companies, etc. Deirdre is saying, great conversation. Thanks to you both. Deirdre, we are
Yeah.
glad you are here. Someone is saying, preach. And I think that was about, just who you are in the tough times, really explains your character.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me ask you another question that was on the list.
Sure.
You left a successful career and you built something really cool, and now you're in a new cool successful career that you're building something. Define success, Kathy. What is success to you?
Oy. That's it seems like such a simple question, but it's so profound. And if we all asked ourselves that at key points, it could change the trajectory of a lot of what we do. But for me, I define success as my ability to do good work, to be useful. If I don't feel useful, I don't feel successful. And I just want that good work and being useful to make the world a better place. And it doesn't have to be, super altruistic, but I helped someone identify a talent that they didn't know they had. I helped someone grow in their career. I helped someone solve a problem. I helped someone to feel connected and not alone. Those for me, that's what I define as success. And there it's easy to for me at this point in my career where I've had some financial success too to do that. So there's a bit of Maslow's hierarchy of needs at play here. So, I'm really lucky that I'm moving closer to that self-actualization part of the pyramid as rather than earlier in my career where you're just trying to get your basic needs met.
Yeah.
So you define success differently at different levels in that pyramid, if you will. But for me, it's all about doing good work, being useful, and making the world a better place.
The theme of contribution continues to come up in
Yeah.
all of these conversations with all of the leaders we've talked with.
Yeah.
There hasn't been one who has not talked about the power of benevolence towards others, making the world a better place, contributing to a person or a company or the industry. And so, friends who are watching, take note. There are themes here throughout from our industry's leaders about what living your fullest self looks like and certain aspects that seem to be key themes we keep hitting on. Oh,
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
and
fun, Kathy.
it is fun, and it's an honor to be even considered in that same group. You've had some really amazing leaders in these conversations, and I do think that's how you identify the difference between a leader and a manager, because a leader, a manager is like telling people where to go, and how to do it. A leader is just laying a map and encouraging people to find the way on their own. And I think the other thing that's important too is that you don't have to have a title to be a leader. I mean, you don't have to have a direct report to be a leader. Leadership without authority is like the greatest identifier of who true leaders are. And you don't have to be tasked to be a leader to just be one. And you lead with your attitude, you lead with your work ethic, you lead with your example. And gosh, what an amazing group of people that I am just, I'm so thankful that early in my experience here that we got connected. And I'm not even sure anymore how we got connected, but I think we both identified, hey, that's someone who's putting positive energy out there. I want to be associated making introductions. But like I said, some of the people that you've had that I was lucky enough to meet in person before all this happened, Rob Connolly, Jim Cantardi, Allison, Cody, like just really great people. And a lot of people that I haven't had the privilege of meeting personally, but I can't wait until we're all together and toasting and celebrating and enjoying good food. I'm ready for that time.
Kathy, I'm with you. And frankly, I haven't met a lot of these people in person. Yeah. It was, all through the power plant network and connections that a lot of this happened. And it's so fun to come out of such a weird, well, hopefully we're coming out soon, of such a weird time.
I know.
And I feel grateful that people I've never met, I get to call friends at this point. And that's whether it's people that we've interviewed or people in the power plant network. I mean, so many people across the country and the world I've never met who I genuinely consider friends, that were texting and they're supporting me and encouraging, and hopefully I give that back, etc. So what a gift. Okay, favorite movie that makes you cry?
Gosh, you threw that out as a potential softball question, but I don't know. There was some movie. It's funny. They shouldn't be allowed to show those movies on airplanes, but I do recall. I think it was like a movie called P.S. I Love You, about someone who had passed away, but they left all these love letters for, to give to his girlfriend or something. I don't know what it was. It was some sappy romantic dramedy, and I was on an airplane sobbing. It's just not right. It should be against all air travel laws. Although I'd do it if I had an opportunity to like safely travel on an airplane right now. I'd watch a sappy, sad movie.
That is funny. There's nothing like, being shoulder to shoulder with someone else and you just kind of like losing your crap, like just tears falling right next to them.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Okay. A word of encouragement to some of our friends out there. We've got a lot of friends in our community out looking for work. A buddy I talked to today, I called him and because of everything going on, is just getting let go right now in the community. Any words of hope or encouragement that you see or that you'd offer?
Only there have been times through my life where it's felt really dark, and moments, maybe in my younger years where it seems like there's no way out of this. Yeah. And somehow there always was. And I don't know if that's a word of encouragement, but it so much as, one, you're not alone. And you're not alone even in this circumstance, that there's this pressure to be positive. There's pressure to say, I'm fine. There's pressure to not convey weakness. But everyone, it doesn't matter who they are, how much money they have, how much security they have, everyone has gone through something dark. And even when it feels like you're alone in it, you're not. So my word of encouragement is to work your network. And what you're doing here is so amazing, because if you're feeling dark, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling disconnected, you've created this place where people can come. And even if you don't know everyone else, the people that are coming here are seeking a shot in the arm. And we may not be able to fix the problems for everyone that we want to, but we can offer a place of support. So my advice is find anybody to connect to. Know that even though it may feel like there's not a solution. There always is. It may not be the one that you think that is the right solution, but there is a solution. And don't be afraid to just reach out to people in your network. Don't be afraid to go, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Facebook, if there's someone that you think, I just want to connect with, maybe they can't offer me a job, but they can offer me a piece of advice. Maybe they can offer me an introduction to someone else. Maybe they can ask a question that I haven't asked myself that unlocks, a map for myself. So work your network and don't be afraid. I think most people in their hearts want to help others. So if you went to someone and said, I know you can't fix this, but it would be really helpful if we could just have a talk. I can't imagine most people would say no to that. And if they say no to that, it's not someone you want to talk to anyway. Yep. But you don't know where a 5-minute conversation could lead. So just have a bunch of 5-minute conversations, have a bunch of 15-minute virtual coffees, and you're not alone.
Oh my gosh. I really appreciate that advice for people.
Yeah.
So often it's just knowing that there are people shoulder by shoulder, just next with you in the game.
Yeah.
Even in the darkest moments, and they might not know how to fix it. They might not have a job opportunity, but somehow, at least in my experience, when I'm going through hell, knowing that there are people who I know aren't going to leave me, that have my back, that we're going to keep going together, makes all the difference in me continuing to move forward, or just sitting down and at times wanting to give up. So, and you're right. There are. I can't think of a time in my life, and a lot of it has come in challenging situations that I've reached out to people and connected and needed some advice or words. I don't think there's a time in my now 43 years that I've ever reached out to someone who said, no, I'm not willing to talk. I'm not willing to give you some, just my thoughts, or at least just listen. And gosh, I'm gonna let that kind of be our closeout, because it's beautiful, it's brilliant, and I would encourage everyone to listen to Kathy's words on a few levels. There can be a pressure to want to make the world, or even us, believe that everything's just fine, to put on a face, to put on this positive spin. But that's not reality. It's a part of getting from wherever we are to wherever we want to be. The first step is being willing to acknowledge where we are, whatever that looks like. And certainly this community, this place isn't a place that you have to come and just be happy or be upbeat or have energy or anything like that. Hopefully the community offers that in some way to you, give you that bump and give you an extra couple people to say, we're going to walk through this together. But it isn't in being fake or pretending that things aren't hard at times, because to Kathy's point, they are for all of us. And I keep thinking about our buddy Dave Turner with Tabletop Journal when he came on. He posts on LinkedIn all the time. It's his sneakers and like his visor, and he goes for long walks and jogs in Baltimore. And his theme is just got to keep moving. And, I would say, to Kathy's point, keep going. A light always comes at the end of the tunnel. It'll take you longer to get there if you don't keep moving. And you might not always know which direction the light is. That's okay. It's simply in continuing on. And, gosh, I could get emotional. Kevin says, thanks, Kathy and Jason. Kevin, we love you, buddy. What a beautiful family. Look at that picture. That is so rad. Bolt, thank you for the love, hope, positivity tonight. You're both awesome. Bolt, we love you. You are awesome. Kathy, thank you. This has been an honor. I love your level of introspection and honesty and, willingness to learn and grow and share with all of us. So thank you so much.
A happy birthday.
Thank you. You are the best. Friends, listen, keep going. Thank you for joining us tonight. So grateful you were here. give yourself a pat on the back tonight, because you're like in month 10 of this whole thing. And guess what? You're still in it. You're still going. You're still grinding. So celebrate you and do that. Remember, we're doing it together. If you're feeling that challenge right now, if it's tough, reach out to this community. That's why we built it as a community. That's why we're doing it together, so that none of us would feel alone in this whole deal. And to Kathy's point, reach out. If there's anyone you want to reach out to, you can message me, Kathy, whatever. We're happy to listen or answer a question, or if you just need someone to connect with. There's so many, this group is made of amazing, stinking people. So many people who are willing to offer something or help or just walk. So reach out. And if you're in a particularly tough time, don't carry that burden alone. Remember, call someone you trust, reach out to us, share that with a friend. There's times in our life where the burden is a lot, and it won't always be that way. And it's okay if it is now. So you just keep moving, you keep going. Our buddy Rob Connolly reminds us all the time, we are way closer to the end of this than we are to the beginning. And let that be some hope. Who is this? Jose! Thanks, Kathy and Jason. Jason, to share with you, you're one of the guys I admire because you believed in me. Oh, you're gonna make me cry, Jose. I should have screened that before I threw that up there. Oh my gosh, Jose, love you, man. You've done a great job growing in your career in the industry. Epically grateful to know you. Everyone, lots of love. Have a great night, Kathy. Thank you. We'll talk soon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.